Witchcraft is a branch of black magic which aim is to perpetrate wickedness and harms. It set in motion evil power through diabolical procedure in order to remove happiness in men's life. It is a satanic power that indwell and possess the heart, the spirit and the body, blood and all the being. It provoke calamity, woes, bewitchment and evil dart, curse, blockade, unemployment, barrenness, stagnation, accident, instability, premature death. Witchcraft is a powerful esoteric art, in which the devil has made available all his harmful and pitiless arsenal of destruction which is corrupt and wicked. The spiritual war is real and people are fighting against you. There are people that are gathering against you. They are constituting a league against you. They don't want you to be stable, and they don't like happiness in your life. They want nothing positive to happen in your life. They want your life to be like an ant trapped inside a bottle, where he is battling to come out, and when he reaches the opening of the bottle his captor would shake the bottle. As a result he will fall to the bottom of the bottle. This is what is called eternal cycle of failure. Whenever you are about to break out you will fall to the bottom. You must break out of that prison, for you can come out of that prison. There is national and international witchcraft, and the gathering place of international witches is England in Stonehenge. Witches gather there more than 2,000 years before the birth of Christ. One day in the morning when I was playing behind the house I heard grandmother calling me, and when I joined her she gave me a piece of meat. I saw that it was a little different and delicious when I was eating, but when I swallowed this piece of meat my body started shaking. I had impossible convulsions. While I was shaking I saw that I had become two, as if I was in two places simultaneously, for another part of me came out of my body. I knew these two versions of me was me. When my two parts united I was disturbed by this unnatural phenomena. When I got to her, she placed her hand behind my head and she bit me in the forehead to open my eyes. She told me, "The piece of meat you just ate is a secret between you and me. You have no right to tell anyone. If you dare to tell your father or mom I will have to kill you." I went back to play behind the house, but I couldn't concentrate. I thought about the meat I had eaten, and how I had trembled and became two. I wondered what really happened. At night when I sleep around the middle of the night, I heard grandmother's voice calling me, and her voice was coming through the roof, and she said to me, "Little John." I thought grandmother was going to give me the meat again. Immediately I said to her, "I don't need it." She told me, "Little pig, is that how you answer your grandmother? Shut your mouth and don't ask me questions. You will do what I want to tell you, otherwise I will kill you." Suddenly I found myself far from home, flying in space with grandmother. I did not understand what happened there in the spirit world. I woke up the next day around 2 p.m. My mother was worried because I went to sleep at 7 p.m. and I got up around 2 p.m. and I was tired. That was how I got initiated in black magic. Grandmother started coming in the night in the shape of cat to take me, and whenever I wanted to scream to call my mother to come and see the animal that was taking my spirit, I was losing my voice and I was paralyzed as if I was electrocuted. In a particular night when grandmother took me to the meeting of wizard, I saw that we got to a place that seems like an erosion or a ravine, but there were stairs leading to the bottom of the pit and we descended to our destination. At the bottom of this cave I could not see anything, but I could hear noises of multitude of people as if we were in a stadium, for I kept hearing uproars of people. Some were shouting, "Who is that?" and other asked, "What is he come to do here?" That's when I felt a hand touching my eyes, and when this hand left my face my spiritual eyes were open. Very quickly I realized that I was in the middle of a crowd of people. They were men and women, young and old. To my great surprise they were all naked. I saw that I was also naked. I touched my eyes to check whether I was dreaming or not. I saw it was a real world. Witchcraft is a paranormal phenomenon that is real. The crowds were standing at the grandstand looking down at me. I wonder, what am I doing here? I saw that the meeting place was like a stadium, which was full to capacity with people. To my surprise people were all naked. I saw that all these people were diabolical, and in their eyes there was wickedness. They seemed callous, cruel and ferocious. These people were seated on demonic beasts such as dragon, others were seated on flying reptiles and the monsters. When I looked I saw before me my grandmother who was seated on a chair naked with leg open. The whole thing was surreal. I said. In our tradition I cannot look at the nakedness of my grandmother. When I look away to avoid watching her, I felt that she stood up and was approaching me accompanied by 5 people on his left and right. She was a high-rank witch. Grandmother stood before me and established eye contact with me and told me, "Are you troubled because I am naked? Listen, the fact that I am showing you my nakedness and sex where your mother came out means that I have bewitched you. You are not in the earthly world, but in the parallel world, the place of magic called the Hidden Hood. Look, my meat that you ate was not for free. You must offer a human being in sacrifice so that the power that I gave you can become efficient." This was actually the day where I went from being an unconscious witch to an active witch, for my spiritual eyes were opened. I did not need the door to enter the house because of the astrophosphor body that witches used, that can go through walls. There were no obstacle. Grandmother said, "The first person that you gonna sacrifice to me is your mother. This is your first mission and you have to succeed. I am giving you this syringe with which you will get her blood." My mother loved her mother a lot. Since she was a nurse and had a good salary, she always bought clothes, medicines to send to the village to her mother. Thus grandmother lacked nothing because my mother met all her need. What struck me was my mother love toward grandmother. My mother can forget all, but she will never forget sending grandmother milk, sugar, clothes, medicine and money. In the end my mother got grandmother to come to live with us. Whatever goodness you can do to a witch, that it will not stop him from destroying you. When you become a witch you will be told that you are no longer part of your family. Your father and mother are no longer your parent. Your brother and sister are no longer your family. They become stranger to you, and you must be ready to destroy them and kill at any moment and erase them from the earth. That night when I got home, I introduced the syringe on my mother body and I withdrew blood with the syringe, and I took her blood to the world of wizard. As a result the ritual of my initiation began, and 50 naked women were dancing around me hitting their sex and breast, and they were singing incantation song, which go like this: "The vagina we are showing you is the only passage for natural life, but also the passage for spiritual life. In this dark and deep night, under the eyewitness of the moon, the stars, the goddesses and power of the spiritual world, we take your heart, soul, thought and we subject it under the power of witchcraft, by the sky and the earth, by the sea and the land and the fire, by the woe and the valley, by the dungeons and abyss we give you access to the world of witchcraft. You are now one of us. You cannot stop unless you have sent sickness, when you have caused death to a man or woman, and when people are mourning and crying. This must make you feel good. Human suffering must be stimulating to you. That is why you are here." In this ritual grandmother put my mother blood in a cup and said, "You will be the first to drink the blood of your mother, to demonstrate you will not hesitate to kill and cause wickedness and woes in the world of men." When I drank my mother blood, grandmother continued her speech and said, "Ancient serpent and snake that has many name, power that govern the earth in the rhythm of death, dreadful monster, king of the abyss and eternal darkness, receive in this moment the new initiate act of commitment." Grandmother told me, "Now repeat after me. I sell you my body, my blood, my life and my spirit, every part of it, with the promise of belonging to you even after death beyond the grave." Finally the ritual ended and I became an active witch. Honestly, my first step in witchcraft began when grandmother came to the city. First and foremost, she went to the street at midnight and stood at the crossroad naked, where she was hitting her sex and breast twice, saying, "If this daughter of mine came out of my sex and she ever drink my breast milk, let enchantment, bewitchment and evil spell reach her marital home, let there be division and misunderstanding between her and her husband." This is the incantation and bewitchment grandmother did against her own daughter. You may wonder why she had to hit her breast and sex. It is simply in order to establish legitimacy and demonstrate the right she has over her daughter, because my mother came to the world through her sex and my mother drank her breast milk. These practices of hitting breast and sex give impact in incantation prayer. As a result of grandmother enchantment, my father and mother began to fight continually in their marriage. Yet my mother was pregnant. My uncle said to my father, "Had we knew that you would be beating our sister in marital home, we would not let you marry her." My father replied to him and said something striking, in these terms: "When I am at the workplace I always think about my wife and I want to come home quickly in order to be with her, But whenever I get home and see her, there is a force and an influence that make me aggravated to the point of harming her. My father was unaware of grandmother witchcraft manipulation. I want couple listening to me to understand that there are misunderstanding, quarreling and conflict that arise in marriage as a result of evil spell and bewitchment. My father and mother did not know God and could not see the coming danger. The absence of Jesus in the family was the big issue. Back then,